Hello everyone, RFG here with a review for Slitterhead, a horror-inspired action-adventure game developed and published by Bokeh Game Studio Inc., available on PC, PS4, 5, and Xbox Series X, S. You play as a Hayoki, a being without shape and memory, and the game begins pretty meagerly with you possessing a dog and following its senses. Your senses only get you so far before you're stopped. You're then made aware of how your possession ability works. Aiming the camera at a nearby human targets them to be transferred to. This transference is generally fast and smooth, and this ability can be used frequently in battle, while exploring areas, and for pursuing enemies. Your enemies are Slitterheads, and immediately after meeting your first one, your host body dies and puts you into a formless state. Remaining formless slows down time and is mainly used for transferring it to other people. Those glowing in yellow will be the target possession. You can also use this form to look around within a certain distance and height. Your formless state is also tied to Slitterhead's game over conditions. Being out of a host body for too long will cause a game over. A game over is also reached by losing 3 souls. Souls are lost when your host body dies. Your souls are located at the bottom left portion of the screen. There's more to it than that, and I'll explain that soon. Escaping from the enemy shows you that you can use position to bypass certain obstacles, and that your host can jump and wall jump. After escaping into the main street, you'll learn how exploration works. Finding memory fragments progresses this section of the game, and just about anything that allows for interaction will have a small yellow indicator near them. These memory fragments help the protagonist gain some memories back for exposition, but they're also to inform you of your ability to sprint, leap to new heights, and teach you how to use possession to reach areas that might seem inaccessible. You'll also be able to sense the presence of some Slitterheads that helps guide you into finding them. This also gives you the sight jack ability, which grants you their sight to narrow their location. These memory fragments will also teach you about most core combat abilities, and a big part of a battle is your ability to possess people. I mentioned the game over conditions earlier, but this mostly pertains to battles. Your 3 souls that indicate your life are dependent on the host's blood level and spirit power meters, located above your 3 available souls. A host's blood level is their health, which when driven down to 0 means you lose a soul. Maintaining blood level is key to surviving in Slitterhead. You can draw a weapon by holding the guard button. Holding the button down allows you to target or prime an enemy and protect yourself from enemy attacks. But taking hits while guarding uses the weapon's durability. If a weapon breaks after losing all of its durability, you'll lose some of that host's blood and be open to attacks. Hosts have a set of basic attacks when in battles. A standard combo, one attack while moving towards a targeted enemy, and one while moving away from a targeted enemy that you can get later on. Hosts also have active skills that can be used in battle. Active skills have their own button for use, and icons for them are shown on the left side of the screen. Most skills will use a percentage of blood level to activate, but this ties into another possession ability. Transferring into another host will increase their attack strength, add an extra attack to their combo, and provide bonus blood level for a short period of time. A really simple strategy can be to use active skills for one host and then switch to another to do the same. This has its drawbacks depending on the number of hosts available, and while you can recover blood level back by draining from any blood pools that may have formed nearby, this also leaves you very vulnerable. Fortunately, there are some active skills that use spirit power instead. Unlike active skills that use blood level, active skills that use spirit power don't depend on the host and are instead dependent on the player/Hayoki, so swapping to a new body doesn't restore spirit power. Instead, you refill spirit power by taking damage or by deflecting enemy attacks. By holding the guard button marking a prime target, certain enemy attacks will bring up a guide that shows the direction they will attack in. By aiming the camera in the direction of the attack with the right timing, you'll successfully deflect an attack. Successful deflects will restore spirit power, weapon durability, allow for a counterattack, and will gain you meter for blood time. Blood time is a powered up mode that slows down the enemy and allows you to attack them one-sidedly. A countdown gauge will show in the middle of the screen when it's activated. The emphasis of battles still comes down to swapping between bodies and managing blood level through red skills and spirit power with blue skills. You can switch between the available skills shown on the left side of the screen. All active skills have their own cooldown time after use. Basic hosts will eventually have 2 permanent active skills to select from in battle, and 1 or 2 other skills depending on rarities you bring with you into a mission. Rarities are unique characters who you ally with throughout Slitterhead to aid you on your quest. They'll have 3 unique active skills, a set of passive skills, their own unique weapon, and set of attacks. Allying with the first rarity doesn't take too long, and after beating the boss where you find them, and some cutscenes, Slitterhead's gameplay structure gets displayed. The game is divided into intermission and mission sections. The intermission menu of the game consists of the talk, mission, status, closet, and memory options. Talk will let you listen to conversations between the protagonist and Rarities. These usually let you hear the insights of the characters and give more context to the story, or will add new missions to select from. Sometimes they'll contain clues that you'll be able to make use of in missions. Any conversations you've listened to can be reheard in the memories option of the menu. The mission option is where you'll select which mission to play through. Early on, your choices will be limited, but that will change later on. The status option will let you upgrade various traits for the rarities you'll find throughout Slitterhead. This includes blood weapon level, which increases power and can add other attacks. Each of the 3 active skills for a rarity can be upgraded. This includes their overall effect, and passive skills can be upgraded or added. Each rarity starts off with a health and durability passive boost already available for upgrade, but other passive skills can be added. Not all passive skills can be upgraded, but some can affect basic hosts. All upgrades need a number of skill tokens to advance them. You can get skill tokens by completing missions and some other methods within them. The closet menu lets you choose a rarity's costume and mask. As far as I can tell, these are purely cosmetic. You can unlock these in special circumstances within a mission. The talk and mission menu options are the most important since they're both needed to progress through the game, and the mission menu itself allows you to access status and closet options from there. When selecting missions early on, you'll see a brief description on the left and whether it's completed or not. On the right, you'll see if there are any special conditions like a required rarity. You'll be given a confirmation screen to begin the mission with options below before starting. Most missions will follow a general structure of going through some variants of an exploration phase, a pursuing Slitterhead phase, and a battle phase. Sometimes you'll go through multiple phases of each in a mission. Exploration phases will generally have you interact with various objects and or characters in nearby areas. These will usually have some light platforming sections where you may need to continue your investigation from there. Often this will lead to the feel of a presence of a Slitterhead, which tends to lead to the pursuing phase by using your senses and sight check to first find them, and then exposing them. These pursuing phases are usually more fast-paced and will have obstacles you need to bypass or thrown in your way. Sometimes it seems like these sequences end in a specific scripted location, and sometimes it seems you need to stop a Slitterhead by dealing enough damage to them. These mostly end in a battle with the Slitterhead you were chasing. They can vary by ending up against a group of enemies or into boss battles. These battles are usually sealed off. In each situation, basic hosts will either be already on the sidelines in the battle evading enemy attacks, or they'll be periodically lured in. The enemies can also be tougher, which can result in you managing blood levels for hosts more intently. Damaged people will have their blood level on display over them to help you determine who to switch to when you feel the need to. Completing missions will usually send you back to the talk menu, where you can uncover new ones. This loop continues for a few missions, and along the way you'll ally with new rarities. But at certain points, your progression may be blocked by a lack of new allies. After a certain point, certain missions in the mission select screen will indicate if there is a rarity located in one, amongst other notable things within them. Whether it's in a conversation in the talk menu, or within the mission itself, the game does a pretty decent job of giving you a clue or a path to a rarity. In most cases, everything in Slitterhead feels very well thought out. There's a good variety of skills between rarities. Having spawnable hosts around in battle seems like a fair balance when you factor being able to switch bodies in terms of difficulty and how blood level and spirit power are refilled. Exploration when allowed is pretty open, while shifting to the sense mode when you feel a Slitterhead nearby and pursuing enemies can feel urgent. Even the story is pretty well thought out. Some things will be brought up that are seemingly unimportant, but will have some impact later on. Some things may feel like they came out of nowhere, but were referred to earlier. But some things did feel off to me in the execution in certain aspects. The rarities are varied, but some of the rarities' skills are far more useful than others. Deflecting sounds like a nice touch for added depth, but some enemies are slow to attack, so I just found it faster to brute force my way through most battles in other ways. This is on normal difficulty, so this probably won't work on hard or nightmare, but even with some game overs, I realize I can beat most battles without relying on deflex. Pursuing an exposed Slitterhead may feel urgent at first, but most of the time they'll move in a set pattern or will pause to wait for you. But they can reach areas easier and faster than you can, so it feels necessary, though I feel like they could have made a compromise somewhere in the design. Visuals work solidly for what the priorities are. Rarities, important characters, and most enemies have lots of detail. Enemies especially will fit the horror vibe. The city itself feels lively and scummy depending on the mission, though it might feel repetitive as you'll visit the same locations multiple times. It fits the narrative, but they're still lacking in overall variety. The sound I found to be just about right. There were some tracks that caught my attention, but it just matched the setting and events overall. There is a small amount of spoken dialogue, but not enough for me to say it works or it doesn't. Vocal flourishes are here and there, but I usually don't have an issue with that in general. Difficulty was fine on normal. I did need to retry some battles on occasion, but only one or two stand out as feeling frustrating. Some other later bosses felt unnecessarily long, but I didn't need to retry those fights. Battles in tight spaces in general felt annoying. though mostly because of the camera, but nothing should hold you back from beating the game. I wouldn't personally say there's much replayability, but there is a good amount of game here. There are a few things to collect for specific missions, and the mission select screen shows you that. But there's no new Game Plus mode or other modes to unlock from what I could find. As for me, I do think the experience is worthwhile. Slitterhead has a well thought out game plan, and the horror aesthetic fits, but I felt the execution was lacking a bit in places. But that's it for me. Let me know what you think below. Thanks. Bye.